You probably think attraction is something that just happens. A spark, a look, a moment of chemistry that either appears or doesn't. But what if I told you that spark isn't random? What if I told you attraction is something you can create, something you can trigger inside her mind without even touching her? See, most men move through life blind to how women actually feel. They think rejection is final. They think I'm not interested means it's over. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not over. It never was. Attraction isn't logical. It's emotional. It's not about your looks, your status, or what you say. It's about the energy you project when you walk into the room. That calm confidence. That self-control. That silent power that makes her body tense without understanding why. Because women don't fall for words. They fall for presence. They fall for men who move differently, who speak slower, who listen more than they talk. Men who don't chase attention, because their attention already has value. And here's where most guys fail. They try to convince her, but attraction doesn't come from convincing. It comes from positioning. When you live like a man who knows his worth, you don't need to win her over. She starts to notice you differently. Your silence feels confident, your absence feels heavy, and your presence addictive. That's the shift. The moment her brain stops analyzing you and starts feeling you. It's not magic. It's not luck, it's psychology. And if you understand it, you can flip her perception completely. Because the truth is simple. A woman doesn't fall for a man who wants her. She falls for the man she can't figure out. Most men live by a dangerous lie. That attraction is some random lightning strike. They believe if she's not interested now, it's a closed case, a final verdict. They confuse a momentary lack of interest with an eternal rejection. But here's where they go wrong. Attraction isn't fixed. It's a fluid emotional dance. It bends, it shifts, and it can be ignited even when the initial spark seems absent. The real power isn't in convincing her, but in subtly reprogramming her perception. The game isn't about meeting her checklist. It's about commanding her emotional response. A woman doesn't process attraction like a spreadsheet. Tall, rich, handsome, check, check, check. She feels it in the primal gut. A reaction to your energy, your presence, and how you hold your own space. The man who chases, who begs for validation, is instantly discounted. He signals a void she instinctively avoids. But the man who stands firm, who prioritizes his own journey, who carries himself with quiet confidence without needing to prove a thing, that man ignites a potent curiosity. And curiosity, my friends, is the deadliest weapon in the arsenal of attraction. It's the first domino. Most guys get stuck in the comfort zone thinking that if they agree with everything, never challenge, and constantly seek her approval, she'll magically fall for them. This isn't courtship. It's self-sabotage. You become the safe option, the friend, the he's not exciting box. But when you master the silent language of energy, when you project a presence that doesn't fit neatly into any of her preconceived categories, she can't label you. Instead, she begins to observe. She notices the calm in your storm, the weight of your silence, the subtle power of your self-control. That's when the tectonic plates of her perception begin to shift. This entire dynamic pivots on one fundamental truth. Attraction isn't about chasing. It's about strategic positioning. It's about cultivating an undeniable value within yourself, discipline, clear goals, and unshakable confidence in your own journey. Even if her interest is non-existent right now, the way you embody these qualities can flip a switch deep within her. And once that switch is thrown, she doesn't just see another man, she sees the man she's compelled to be around, the magnetic force of unshakable confidence. If you want to pull her in, even when she's initially pushing you away, you need to understand the bedrock of all attraction, unshakable confidence. Think of it like gravity. Women are inherently biologically drawn to it the same way a moth is drawn to a flame. Without it, there's no warmth, no light, no irresistible pull. And here's the game changer. This isn't about your looks, your bank account, or your height. It's about the very core of how you exist. Confidence is in the way you occupy a room, the measured cadence of your voice, the unwavering belief in your own intrinsic worth. She senses it the moment you enter her space, a subtle current in your energy, a silent declaration in your body language, a resonance in your tone. And if that current is weak, if that declaration is hesitant, if that resonance is shaky, she feels that too. It's an instant read. The fatal flaw of most men? They attempt to counterfeit confidence. They overcompensate with loudness, arrogance, or aggressive posturing, desperately trying to project an image they don't inhabit. But a woman's intuition is a finely tuned lie detector. Fake confidence is transparent. It screams insecurity. Real confidence, however, has no need to shout. It is a quiet, steady hum of self-possession. It's the calm before the storm, the unshakable mountain. Real confidence is evident in the way you stand tall, not slumped. It's in the way your gaze meets hers directly without flinching, a silent challenge. It's in the unhurried, deliberate pace of your words, not a torrent of nervous chatter. It is the profound understanding that you don't need to impress her, because your inherent value is non-negotiable. That is the energy that makes her pause, makes her look twice, makes her internal compass subtly redirect towards you. If she's not interested now, one of the most potent accelerants to shift her perception is to simply live in your own truth, your own confident lane. Don't attempt to argue or persuade her with words. Demonstrate your worth through your very presence. Double down on your ambitions. Move with deliberate purpose. Speak with absolute conviction. And when you do extend your attention, do so not from a place of seeking her approval, but from a place of abundance. Give it like a man who has a wealth of options, a man who is whole and complete regardless of her presence. This subtle shift creates an irresistible enigma. And enigma, my friends, is the prime fuel for attraction. Understand this deeply. Women are not captivated by men who grovel for validation. They are irrevocably drawn to men who validate themselves. A man who honors himself, who trusts his own judgment, who remains unperturbed under scrutiny. That man automatically becomes an object of desire, even to the woman who initially dismissed him. The irresistible allure of the unread chapter, if unshakable confidence is the anchor, then mystery is the current that keeps her perpetually circling your orbit. Consider the human psyche. Once a puzzle is solved, once a story is fully told, once all variables are known, interest wanes. Predictability breeds boredom. Women are no exception. When you lay bare your entire existence, when you divulge every secret, every ambition, every past heartache too soon, when you make yourself perpetually available, you extinguish the flame of curiosity, and when curiosity dies, attraction suffocates. Conversely, when she encounters a man who feels like an unread chapter, a man she can't quite decipher, a man with layers yet to be peeled back, she becomes utterly captivated. That lingering intrigue keeps her mind orbiting around you even when you're physically absent. Most men unknowingly commit this cardinal sin. They overshare, they monologue, they spill their entire emotional landscape and future intentions within the first few encounters, driven by a subconscious desperation to be understood. But here's the critical miscalculation. If she already possesses the full blueprint of your being, what conceivable reason does her mind have to revisit you, to ponder you, to crave more? Enter. Mystery is the engine that keeps her intellect engaged in your absence. Mystery is what compels her to replay your conversations, attempting to decode your unspoken language, to fill in the tantalizing blanks. And with every moment her brain is working on you, attraction is silently, powerfully growing. So, how do you construct this alluring enigma? It's deceptively simple. Don't present yourself as an open book from the outset. Speak with conviction, but allow a pregnant pause, a tantalizing silence, a few things left unsaid. Offer glimpses into your world, but never the full panorama. Share anecdotes, but retain a judicious sense of detail. And, crucially, cultivate a vibrant, fulfilling life that exists entirely independent of her. Let her witness that you possess passions, projects, and commitments that are not solely contingent on her presence. When she observes that she doesn't hold all the pieces to your puzzle, she will be naturally compelled to seek them out. That quiet, persistent curiosity is the fertile ground where attraction blossoms. The unvarnished truth: a man who is predictable is by definition forgettable, but a man who carries a whisper of mystery, a subtle undertow of the unknown, is utterly unforgettable. Women are inherently drawn to complex puzzles. Become one and she will find herself unable to look away. Even if her initial interest was non-existent, mystery plants a seed of fascination in her subconscious. She will begin to internally question, who is he really? What drives him? Why doesn't he seem to need me in the way others do? And that profound internal questioning is the nascent stage of genuine emotional entanglement. The unconquerable fortress of emotional mastery, one of the most potent, yet rarely understood, pathways to attracting a woman, even if she's initially indifferent, is through demonstrating absolute emotional mastery. Many men remain oblivious to a fundamental truth. Women, often unconsciously, subject men to a constant barrage of tests. They will subtly probe your boundaries, inject challenges into conversations to gauge your reaction, withdraw their attention to see if you chase, or feign disinterest to observe if you crack under pressure. They are not doing this maliciously. They are seeking a primal assurance of your strength. And here lies the downfall of countless men. They relinquish control of their emotional state. They become reactive. They lose their temper. They resort to begging. They over-explain themselves into oblivion, or they desperately attempt to coerce her into liking them. The instant you forfeit your emotional sovereignty, you plummet in her estimation. Why? Because women are innately drawn to strength, and true strength isn't merely physical prowess or financial power. It is the profound capacity to remain centered, calm, and composed amidst external chaos or emotional provocation. It is the unwavering ability to stay grounded when circumstances deviate from your desires. When you can meet her gaze unperturbed even as she attempts to create distance or tension, she registers your power, and power fundamentally attracts. Consider this scenario. She retracts her attention and you instantly launch into a pursuit. What message does this send? It shouts that she controls your emotional landscape, that her approval eclipses your self-respect. But when she withdraws and you remain serene, when you don't succumb to panic, when you continue to execute your life's mission without breaking stride to chase her, you communicate a powerful truth. You are not governed by her whims or moods. This ignites a profound curiosity within her. It compels her to reevaluate. It makes her ponder why you possess such an unshakable core when other men crumble. This is the stark separator. Emotional control distinguishes the men she might use for fleeting attention from the men she fundamentally desires. A man who embodies calmness, patience, and absolute self-command projects an aura of rarity. He communicates without uttering a single word that he cannot be easily manipulated or swayed. And when a woman perceives that she cannot readily control you, her respect for you deepens exponentially. And remember, respect is not merely a component of attraction. It is its foundational bedrock. So if she's currently exhibiting a lack of interest, the most strategic response is not to plead or argue. It is to remain unyieldingly calm, laser-focused on your trajectory, and to communicate through your actions that your emotional equilibrium is not for sale. This single-handedly recalibrates the entire dynamic, because while the majority of men sacrifice their integrity in a desperate bid to win her over, you stand resolute, an unmoving force, and that profound difference renders you unforgettable. The sovereign act of self-valuation. Here's an uncomfortable, yet liberating truth that most men never fully internalize. If you fail to value yourself, no woman ever will. The genesis of attraction is not external. It blossoms from the internal soil of your self-perception. Far too many men erroneously believe that the path to a woman's heart is paved with pedestals, royal treatment, and making her the undisputed sun of their universe. But here's the brutal calculus of reality. When you elevate her above yourself, you unwittingly teach her to treat you as if you are beneath her. Why this paradox? Because human beings, by their very nature, mirror the value you project for yourself. If your actions scream that your world revolves solely around her, she will instinctively deduce that you lack a compelling internal world of your own. And nothing annihilates attraction more swiftly than a man devoid of self-worth outside the context of a woman. When you emanate self-value, you broadcast an entirely different message. You declare yourself a man of unwavering standards, a man with inviolable boundaries, a man who fiercely protects his time, his energy, and his grander aspirations. Women register this declaration instantly. On a visceral level, even if she was initially disinterested, when she observes you conducting yourself with an undeniable sense of pride, when she witnesses you commanding respect simply by the way you navigate your life, her entire mental framework shifts. Suddenly, you are no longer just another supplicant vying for her fleeting attention. You are the man who does not beg for it. That profound distinction makes you leap from the shadows into the blinding spotlight of her awareness. Most men squander their most potent energy on women who have zero vested interest in them. They willingly sacrifice their time, their financial resources, and their self-respect in a desperate bid to simply keep her within their periphery. But when you execute this strategic pivot, when you relentlessly prioritize valuing yourself first, you fundamentally invert the pursuit. She becomes the one compelled to move towards you. She begins to ponder why you don't engage in the familiar chase, why you don't follow the predictable script. She begins to ask herself why your approval feels more earned, more elusive. And that, my friends, is the crucible where true attraction is forged. The immutable law. A woman can only respect a man who first and foremost respects himself. If you permit her to walk over your boundaries, she might exploit your generosity, but she will never ever desire you. However, if you boldly demonstrate that you operate by your own internal compass, that you safeguard your precious energy, that you selectively bestow your time only upon those who genuinely merit it, you ascend to a rare echelon, and rare men unequivocally are always attractive. Therefore, engrave this truth into your subconscious. The more profoundly you value yourself, the more profoundly she will value you. Even if she remains disinterested now, your unyielding self-worth possesses the power to resculpt her perception of you in ways she never previously imagined. The art of leading, not chasing, one of the most catastrophic errors men commit when faced with a woman's disinterest, is to escalate the chase. They bombard her with texts. They call incessantly. They attempt to prove their worth through a torrent of effort, deluding themselves into believing that sheer persistence will magically alter her mind. But the harsh truth is painfully simple. The more you chase, the faster she runs. Chasing screams, "I need you." Leading whispers, "You might need me." And women are not naturally drawn to followers. Their primal wiring compels them towards leaders. When you cease the futile chase and seamlessly transition into a mode of leadership, you fundamentally rebalance the power dynamic. Instead of attempting to contort yourself to fit into the existing framework of her life, you forge a life of such strength, such unwavering purpose, that she finds herself compelled to integrate into yours. This is the crucial distinction that eludes the vast majority of men. A man who chases is indistinguishable from the herd, predictable, desperate, eminently replaceable. But a man who leads stands out like a beacon. He is decisive. He possesses a clear trajectory. He knows precisely where he is headed with or without her. That energy, I assure you, is nothing short of magnetic. Consider this deeply. Leadership isn't about attempting to control her. It is, at its core, about controlling yourself. It is about steering your own vessel with an unshakable confidence and a crystal-clear vision. When you enter a room, your presence is palpable. When you articulate your thoughts, people lean in, because your words carry the weight of certainty. And when you engage with her, she senses that you are not seeking her validation. You are simply extending an invitation to enter your meticulously constructed world. That profound difference forces her to view you through an entirely novel lens. Most women are utterly unimpressed by the man who bends his entire existence to placate them. Their admiration is reserved for the man whose life is so robust, so compelling, that she desires to become a part of it. And here's the clandestine secret. The instant you discontinue the chase, you automatically amplify your own attractiveness. Why this alchemy? Because scarcity inherently engenders value. If you are not perpetually at her beck and call, if you are not relentlessly pursuing her, she begins to question why. She begins to occupy her thoughts with you more intensely. She starts to realize that your attention is a rare commodity, and anything rare is, by definition, more valuable. So if her interest is currently dormant, resist the urge to chase. Instead, lead your own life with an absolute clarity, an unwavering purpose, and an unyielding strength. Demonstrate through your unwavering forward momentum that you are progressing regardless of her presence. And if she chooses to join your journey, then so be it. If not, your trajectory remains unassailable. That singular mindset by itself transforms you into the man she cannot and will not ignore, the unbreakable scaffold of consistency. If your aim is to captivate any woman, even one who initially shows no flicker of interest, you must profoundly grasp the transformative power of consistency. Attraction isn't a fleeting first impression. It is a cumulative effect, built upon the subtle observations she makes of your character over time. Anyone can don a mask of confidence for a few fleeting minutes. Anyone can play the enigmatic stranger for a day. But true, unyielding strength reveals itself only when your character remains immutably solid, week after painstaking week, month after month. And this precisely is where the vast majority of men falter. They explode out of the gates strong and impressive only to gradually diminish. They lavish attention in the beginning only for their energy to dissipate. They make grand pronouncements and fail to follow through. They declare their dedication to lofty goals, only to succumb to easy distractions. Women possess an almost superhuman ability to detect these hairline cracks in your facade. And with every lapse in consistency, you erode a portion of her trust. And without the bedrock of trust, the edifice of attraction can never truly stand. The undeniable truth: consistency is the ultimate proof of value. If you proclaim discipline, then live disciplined. If you articulate ambitious goals, then allow her to witness the tangible evidence of your relentless progress. If you assert your independence from her approval, then do not buckle the moment she applies a subtle test. Women instinctively admire men who honor their word, who embody their declared values, who remain steadfast in their character regardless of external pressure or fleeting temptation. This is the stark dividing line between the man she dismisses and the man she profoundly respects. And make no mistake, respect is the indispensable precursor to desire. Consistency also constructs a profound sense of emotional safety. Even if her interest in you currently registers 0, when she begins to perceive you as fundamentally reliable, emotionally stable, and deeply grounded, her subconscious mind starts to forge an association between your presence and an unshakable strength. And this correlation is critically important because women are evolutionarily wired to gravitate towards men they can implicitly trust. It is not about attaining an unattainable perfection. It is about presenting the same solid, dependable version of yourself across every conceivable circumstance. Never too elated, never too despondent, never groveling when she withdraws, never arrogant when she draws near. Just a steady, unyielding, unshaken force. Ponder this analogy. A man who is unpredictably weak breeds anxiety and uncertainty. A man who is predictably strong cultivates an irresistible attraction. If your actions, your discipline, and your self-respect remain steadfastly consistent, she will find herself utterly incapable of ignoring you. Over time, a profound realization will dawn upon her. You are in fact rare. Rare because most men fold. Rare because most men dissemble. Rare because you consistently demonstrate your authentic self without succumbing to pressure. And when she intimately feels that depth of strength, even initial disinterest can subtly transmute into admiration. And admiration, in its own time, matures into profound desire. The indomitable fire of purpose, the ultimate, most powerful catalyst for attracting a woman, even one who initially stands indifferent, is to live a life saturated with an unwavering sense of purpose. Purpose transcends mere confidence, dwarfs mystery, and eclipses the superficial allure of looks or wealth. Purpose is the inferno that ignites your soul, the compelling reason you rise with conviction each morning, the grand vision that propels you relentlessly forward even when life's unforgiving currents attempt to drag you back. A man steeped in purpose radiates an unparalleled magnetism, because his existence is not predicated on seeking external validation. He does not live for fleeting attention, nor does he shape his world around the whims of women. He lives for something immeasurably higher, something that elevates him far beyond the ordinary, and that distinction makes him incandescent. The profound truth: women are not instinctively drawn to men who drift aimlessly through life. A man devoid of direction projects an image of being lost at sea, and no woman, fundamentally, desires to follow someone who possesses no clear destination. However, when you embody a mission, when you are in the relentless pursuit of building something significant, chasing a monumental goal, or striving towards an ideal grander than your individual self, she feels that potent energy. She perceives that you are not merely existing, you are leading. And leadership, when intrinsically rooted in a profound purpose, is utterly irresistible. Even if her interest is currently dormant, purpose possesses an almost alchemical power to fundamentally alter her perception. Why? Because it serves as an irrefutable testament to your self-sufficiency. It proves that your happiness is not contingent upon her presence. It unequivocally demonstrates that you are not begging her to fill an internal void. You already derive profound fulfillment from the relentless pursuit of your own grand designs, and that in itself ignites a burning curiosity within her. Women are naturally drawn to men who are moving decisively towards a future, men who are actively constructing something enduring, men who champion a cause greater than themselves. Purpose renders you an anomaly, a rare specimen, because the vast majority of men today are either lost in distraction, consumed by lethargy, or merely coasting towards the weekend. But you become the exception, and herein lies the exquisite beauty of purpose. It renders rejection utterly meaningless. When your life is dedicated to unwavering growth, undeniable success, and a lasting legacy, your world does not collapse simply because one woman chooses to say no. You continue your inexorable march forward. You continue to build, and that indomitable strength by itself compels her to wonder why her opinion holds no sway over you. That lingering curiosity subtly plants the seed of an emergent attraction. So internalize this fundamental axiom. Women do not fall for men who need them. They fall for men who inspire them. And inspiration in its purest form emanates solely from living a life imbued with profound purpose. If that unyielding fire burns brightly within you, you will not merely attract women. You will attract unparalleled opportunities, profound respect, and undeniable success across all domains. And once she perceives that, even if her initial demeanor was one of cold indifference, she will find herself utterly incapable of ignoring you any longer. Most men never truly grasp this foundational truth. Attraction is not a commodity you beg for. It is a profound state of being that you meticulously cultivate. Even if a woman currently exhibits no interest in you, this does not signify an eternally sealed door. It simply means she has not yet experienced the resonant energy that sparks her curiosity, the commanding presence that cultivates her respect, or the undeniable strength that compels her to see you in an entirely new light. Every principle we have meticulously unpacked: unshakable confidence, the irresistible allure of mystery, the unconquerable fortress of emotional mastery, the sovereign act of self-valuation, the art of leading instead of chasing, the unbreakable scaffold of consistency, and the indomitable fire of purpose, is an essential thread in this intricate tapestry. Each element in isolation possesses inherent power, but when woven together, they undergo a profound alchemy, transforming you into the rare breed of man no woman can effortlessly disregard. Consider the cumulative impact. Confidence declares your self-belief. Mystery keeps her mind perpetually engaged in your absence. Emotional mastery proves your unshakable resilience. Self-valuation broadcasts your inherent worth. Leading, rather than chasing, fundamentally recalibrates the power dynamic. Consistency painstakingly builds trust, and purpose, the grand orchestrator, binds it all into a unified, unstoppable force with or without her. This is the definitive blueprint. This is how a man transmutes initial indifference into undeniable attraction, not through desperate pursuit, not through groveling pleas, and certainly not through manipulative games, but by consciously evolving into the archetypal man women instinctively respect and deeply desire. The pervasive error committed by most men is an over-reliance on her, and a tragic neglect of themselves. They squander precious energy in a Sisyphean effort to convince a woman to like them, instead of channeling that energy into becoming the kind of man she cannot help but notice. But the secret, elegantly simple, lies within. When you dedicate yourself to the rigorous, relentless construction of your own being, attraction, like a natural phenomenon, simply takes care of itself. When you embody strength, cultivate unwavering discipline, and navigate life with a profound sense of purpose, women feel that gravitational pull, even if their conscious mind attempts to deny it, and inevitably curiosity blossoms into respect, and respect in its profound maturity flowers into irresistible attraction. So, if her interest in you is currently dormant, resist the urge to panic. Do not beg. Do not lose yourself in the futile pursuit of winning her over. Instead, absorb these immutable principles, master these transformative qualities, and then witness with awe as your narrative completely rewrites itself. Because the enduring truth remains, women do not fall for men who chase them. They fall for men who inspire them, who challenge them to grow, and who possess the innate capacity to lead. And when you authentically embody that man, her initial lack of interest cannot last forever. You will not only magnetize her, but you will simultaneously manifest the extraordinary life you have always envisioned. Remember this above all: attraction is not a trick. It is a profound transformation. And the moment you commit to transforming yourself into a man of undeniable value, every other element of your life begins to fall precisely into its predestined, perfect place. If you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, to cultivate the unshakable confidence and magnetic presence that women crave, then click the subscribe button in the below. Join my exclusive program, The Unseen Advantage, and unlock the psychological triggers that transform indifference into undeniable desire. This isn't about pickup lines. It's about becoming the man she can't figure out and can't resist. Tap the button now and let's begin your transformation.